A map is a picture of Earth's surface. Although most maps are drawn on flat paper, Earth has many bumps and curves. These changes in elevation are difficult to show on a flat surface. A topographic map is a type of map that shows changes in elevation. At first, a topographic map may look like just squiggles and blotches of color. However, the map can provide a great deal of information. First, you must understand how the lines and symbols are used. The most obvious feature of a topographic map is the system of curved lines that covers the maps. These lines are called contour lines, and they are usually brown. Each contour line represents a specific elevation. Elevations on U.S. maps published by the U.S. Geological Survey are measured in feet above sea level. In countries where the metric system is used, elevations are measured in meters. Surveyors measure elevations when they gather the information to create a new map. When you move your finger along a contour line on a topographic map, the elevation is the same at every point on that line. Your path would be flat if you walked along the course the contour represents in the real world. You would not go uphill or downhill. Contour lines are always connected at both ends. If you follow a contour line on a topographic map, you will always return to the place where you began. Sometimes the ends of a contour line run off the map page, but eventually they connect if you enlarge the map or follow them onto an adjacent map or another map. Hill on a topographic map is represented by rings of contour lines, very similar to the one that we saw on our yesterday's lesson of our topographic map of Mount Shasta. The rings become smaller and smaller as they approach the top of the hill. If you move from one contour line to another, you move either up or down in elevation. In real life, if you walk across contour lines represented on the map, you will go either uphill or downhill. Elevation changes rapidly if contour lines are close together. A steep hill is represented by closely spaced contour lines. The closer the lines are, the more steeper or quickly it goes higher. If the contour lines are farther apart, they represent a more gradual slope, meaning that it takes a bit longer or more walking to go up the hill. Some contour lines are thicker than others and have elevations printed on them. Just like yesterday when we added the elevation points to each contour line. These are called index contours. The numbers tell the elevation of the index contours. Index contours help determine whether the elevation is rising or falling. Are we going up the hill or down the hill? Topographic maps contain other important information. A scale is printed on the bottom of the map. In the United States, the standard scale of many topographic maps is 1 to 24,000, meaning 1 inch on the paper equals 24,000 inches or 2,000 feet. The scale is shown as a ratio, graphic scale, or both. And the reason is because we can't show 2,000 feet on a piece of paper, so we scale it down to a smaller size. On some maps, the scale is given in meters. The text in the margin also states the contour interval. This is the change in elevation between any two contour lines. The contour interval tells us how much the elevation is increasing as we go up the hill. A contour interval of 3 meters means that the elevation of each contour line is 3 meters higher or lower than the one next to it. Let's look at the different colors used on this example of a topographic map. The first color we see is green. Green represents major vegetation like forests, brush, and orchids. If you look at this map, we notice that there is a lot of green throughout the area. That tells us that the area must be full of forests and different plant life. Blue represents water like lakes, streams, rivers, marshes, springs, the ocean, and the glacier. We see this big blue area. We also see this blue line as well as these little blue lines that represent different lakes. The red symbolizes different highways or roads that are in the area. The black represents different structures or like different mountains that were made. The white represents area that doesn't have much plant but is very flat. For example, like a meadow, a desert. And brown, that represents the different contour lines, like where the sand area is at or the different mountains. You see that there is a couple of brown lines here and in the different parts. Let's keep learning more about topographic maps. See, this is a picture of the Yosemite Valley. In this map, it is a topographic map of Yosemite Valley. The green represents the grass area, but then we also see the brown lines that represent these hills and canyons. Notice, look how it goes up and then down, and then up and down. Similar of these mountains, there's high mountains, and then the middle it is very low. Topographic maps contain much more information than changes, and that is because topographic maps contain much more information than just the changes in elevation. There are different symbols and colors to represent natural landforms, vegetations, and structures that are made by people. The USGS, the Geological Survey, topographic maps use a standard of colors and symbols to represent the objects. And we can see that here. We see the blue lines that represent the lakes. And we also see the green area that represents grass. We also see these brown lines that represent the contour line.